All right. Hello, everyone. Today we're here with Bob
Yeah.
Eckert. We're actually in the office at New and Improved doing a little work. We're taking a
Yeah.
break, though, because we're slackers and just making too much goddamn money. So
That's right. Always like to create something new every day.
that's right.
And I
So
guess this will be it, right?
I guess so.
Or at
Yeah.
least one of many.
So what's got you fired up?
Well, you and I just spent the last week at the Creative Problem Solving Institute, which is the world's oldest creativity and innovation conference. We've been going for lots of years. It's lots of fun. And I always come back from that conference inspired about this dynamic where in deliberate creativity as a method of being is spreading broadly and broadly and broadly all over the world. And so it goes by different names, design thinking is real popular right now and other methods that have been there in the past. But it's really, there's an interest in business, education, even government, believe it or not, in fostering individuals' ability to be creative. And there's a big benefit of that for all of us and for our future. So
Awesome. So
exciting.
could you break that down for a second? You said deliberate creativity. I mean, what does that mean to you, and what would you want other people to take from that?
Sure. Well, the human species, as we all know, is a creative species, right? That's just the dynamic. That's who we are as beings. We're always creating. But what happens sometimes is we get stuck in some types of issues or problems or challenges. And we can go two ways with that. We continually tell ourselves the story of the stuckness, which seems to keep us that way. So we complain, right? Mm-hmm. Or we do a different pattern and we say, what might be all the ways to move beyond that? And deliberate creativity is disciplined about not allowing ourselves to do any complaining, or go ahead, complain for a minute, get over it. Mm-hmm. Now what are you going to do about it? And then once you decide you're going to be deliberately creative, then there's all these tools and methods and techniques and cognitive processes and disciplines and interacting kind of disciplines that you can do to foster deliberate, on-demand solution finding or opportunity finding that just is elegant. And I see it more and more happening in the world. As much as the media might tell us that's not the case, it's really, the data is pretty clear. Things are getting better.
So it seems like not complaining is a pretty big factor, or a first step. So, yeah. I mean, why is that? Why does complaining cause a shutdown of creativity? I mean, could you explain that further?
Sure. Well, when we make a statement, when we complain structurally in language, that's a declarative statement. So, I hate that it's raining today, right? That's structured as a declarative statement. And so my evidence, now my brain naturally in response to that goes on what we call a cognitive cascade. And when I say I hate that it's raining, my brain looks, especially since I said it, my brain looks for evidence to support why it sucks that it's raining, right? Mm-hmm. And that just kind of keeps me in that spiral. But if
it is raining right now.
And it really is. But if instead I said, okay, it's raining, what might I do differently to accommodate? I had plans that are going to be more difficult because of the rain, so what might I do different and find the same amount of joy in? So it's shifting from a complaint to a question that takes us down a very different pathway. We have a business problem with a machine that we're operating, for instance, in our factory. We could just, I hate that this thing always is so slow, or I could say, what might be all the ways we could make this work more effectively, or whatever it might be. So that shift, when I ask myself a question, what might be all the ways, my brain naturally wants to solve it. And that's what's happening more and more. People are going from ain't it awful poor me meetings, we talk about ringing the bell for an ain't it awful club meeting, to what are we going to do something different about? We're going to take responsibility to make the world better. And that's, I think, a pretty cool thing.
It is pretty cool. And I mean, when you were talking, it kind of reminded me of this game that we actually played in one of my classes over at CPSI. And if you just have a moment, I think it would be really cool just to explore. I mean, on camera, I think you'll feel kind of the intent of this game. So it's called I Want to Have a Party. And you play this back between two people, right? So I say, I want to have a party on the moon. And the person responds with, yes, and then they add something on, and then it keeps going back and forth. So we're going to do that so you can feel this. So I want to have a party on the moon.
Well, yes, and we could have it in one of those really kind of cool depressions, the craters.
Yeah, and we can invite Elon Musk.
And he could sit in the center of that crater, and we would all be able to hear him talk if he gave us a presentation at the party.
Yeah, so we could probably even make that a TEDx event or a like whole event, right?
Yeah. And I'm thinking too the shape of the crater, and for whatever reason, I'm thinking we could like skateboard back and forth on that thing like a half pipe. You know?
And maybe, yes, and like snowboard too.
Yes, and skateboard and snowboard and mountain bike and all the kind of things. We could do the first moon mountain biking event and get all kinds of great press for mountain biking.
Yeah, and we could definitely have Red Bull sponsor that. And I mean, they might even,
Yeah.
I don't know, that seems possible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So the point of this, right, is that it's really easy to build on ideas when we have precise language like yes and. We don't shut down ideas. And we keep things going. We build momentum. So let's try this a different way. This is the second part of the game. Now, instead of saying yes and, we say but, and we'll see what happens, right? So you can start it out.
I want to have a party on the moon.
But I don't know if we have the money.
But, you know, you're just being disempowered. You could get the money somehow.
But do you realize how much work it would take to get to the moon?
But I really want to go to the moon.
But I just don't think it's realistic. So right there, you can
Now we're
see
in an
like,
argument,
the
right?
shift,
Quick,
right?
you know?
And it's an energetic thing. It is a communication thing. It hits many different levels, and that's what we're kind of getting at here. Deliberate creativity, being precise with our language and how we interact with other people, including our own mind. You know, thinking about our thinking. So, I mean, do you have anything else that you kind of want to riff on right now?
No, since you thought about the moon, I'm thinking about the image you photoshopped of yourself yesterday wearing an astronaut uniform. So maybe moon is on Jake's mind. So
I guess it is. I'm looking at being a class of 2045 NASA astronaut, and no, it's probably SpaceX because they're going to take over. But
that's right.
Who knows what'll happen? But anyways, thanks for joining. This is New and Improved. Bob Eckert here, and
Jake Kent there.
Absolutely.
Have a good day.
Stay creative.